Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models. Welcome to part 3 of building the Revell Fairplay tugboat. This one, I've done the hull and the deck, so next up we're continuing to build upwards. This is going to be the main tower. We'll see how far through it we get. Basically, there's a drum on the front, which I'm going to do at a later time, not a problem, it's not put on till the end. I'm going to be building the stairs and the main surround, going around the sort of control panel helm bit that I've already done. A few extra bits to go onto that as well, but so I'm going to start off getting some bits off the sprue, and then we'll see how much we need and what we need to paint it with. So see you in a moment. Right, I've cut and cleaned up the bits from one kit that I'm going to be doing. I've got some transparent pieces for windows that are over there as well. Now, there's obviously some assembly required, and then these 4 bits go together to make up the outside wall. The colours I've been looking at before doing anything with it, obviously they need priming and then painting. The railings are all done in the blue, which is not a problem. That's the blue that I've got that I used for the hull. There's white for a couple of bits, these tall post bits, and there's rubber black for the insides of some of these windows and bits like that, which isn't a problem, no trouble at all there. The one bit that's a problem is where have we got something like the warning sign on there, and on another bit how these the life rings. Now it says they should be what they call a carmine red, and I've looked it up online and it's actually quite a dark red, but I'm not so sure, seeing as it seems to be, say, warning areas. There is actually a decal that's got to go over the sign here as well. I haven't looked up to see exactly what that is yet, but I'll do that before I get too deep into it. The life preservers, the life rings, I would assume have to be quite a bright colour, so I'm tempted to go with the fluorescent red that I've got there. I have on the box done some test splotches of colour, because the red for the top piece obviously needs to be done as well. So basically I've got a signal red, which is a metallic, which is a bit too pink and metallic. That's the fluorescent, which hasn't dried yet obviously, but when it dries we'll be able to see exactly what it looks like. I've got a Ferrari red and a normal red, what Vallejo call red. So I'm thinking maybe the fluorescent, because that actually is not a bad match for the life preservers on the box art, and so they do need to be fluorescent basically. Then for the main top cover, I'm thinking that the actual red is quite bright, quite nice and not bad. I'll be looking for some other sort of photo of the actual tugs and seeing what's going to go well, but so I need to prime it all in grey anyway, and then we'll be able to start and see how we're getting on. These basically go together just over the little ridges here without dropping it. There we go. This is going to be a good day. Over there, so the sides of the steps are actually proud both sides. Obviously the railings need to line up with each other, and then that will go onto the hull itself. That's the bit that goes on the other side of there. That's those. I've got the railings need to go onto the front here. The railings again need to be blue, as do these steps, but the top piece is actually in aluminium, so I'm not going to glue those on until they're painted. Again, the outside of this is where are we? It doesn't actually mention the colour of the main body piece. We're sort of looking at the wrong side of it, but going by the box art, most of it is white. There is some blue for sort of the steps and things on there as well. That's actually a good point. Let's have a flick through and see. I know there's another tower that goes on top, which is clear parts, which do then need to be painted in white. The paints, they don't seem to tell you what colour to paint the outside piece. So let's go for the actual main body. Yeah, it's white with some blue highlights. The line along here is blue. Remember to use my little pointy man. This raised line is blue. So most of it's going to be white, which once I've primed in grey I'll be able to see how the white goes over the top of it. Looks like the top cover of it is again a different colour. But so I'm going to get these primed up. As I say, the steps themselves are in blue, so I'll be doing those separately. I'll paint the outside walls up first before I put them on. Although this top bit, as I say, needs to be blue, the other side of it does need to be stay white, so I think it needs to be brush painted in blue. So there's no point in installing it before I get it all done. So I'm going to get these primed, or get another lot of each of them cut up and then primed, and then say some painting, some assembly, and then some more painting, and I'll come in and update you on the way. Right, as anyone who's seen any of my videos before would have guessed, plans change. I've looked at a few pictures online of the actual tugs, and the top orange is actually very, very orange, so I'm actually going to go with the fluorescent for that, which means I can go for the brighter plain red for the life preservers, and it's going to look quite good, I think, I hope. So I just thought I'd mention that before I do any priming and painting. I'm going to prime all these first and then get the other lot cut off and primed, because there's just too much to do all in one hit. So I'll get these primed up, get the other lot primed up, and then worry about painting the individual colours. Looking at the pictures, I've got a couple of views of different angles. This is the Fairplay 3, looking at the pictures of the various boats. They have different arrangements. These pillars on the Fairplay 1 is all blue with the white stripe across it. The 3 seems to have, say, white with the blue stripes to it. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to be doing, but obviously the bottom bit needs to be blue with the white. So I think I'm going to be doing the 1. It's going to be an old one that's going to be replaced, whatever. So I'm going to be doing the blue. So blue on the ladder as well. The fluorescent red top and the whole red on the inside, you can see on there. The life preservers are more of a normal red, as is the dinghy. So yeah, obviously that's the panels that are going to be the same as the life preserver. So yeah, I'll be doing Fairplay 1, which obviously needs a 1 on the side, the Fairplay 1 decals and logos and things, but not a problem. But I'll be doing the main, so blue on the outside of that. So I'll have some masking down the edge here, doing all of that blue, then putting the white stripe on it. Actually, I'll mask the white off as well. That's going to be the easiest way of doing it. Right, so priming all in grey. Then what should I do? Prime it all in grey, and then do the white across there and across here. Then I mask off the white, and then I can just do blue everywhere. I can do the detail afterwards. So I now have a plan. Thanks for sitting through my brain working that out, and yeah, let's see when it's primed and painted. Well, I've got the first lot primed, which has come out quite nice in the grey. I've cut the second lot off of screws and got them, as I say, ready to put on sticks and prime. But one of the rails was actually broken in the box. So thanks for Revell with that. They've decided which one's going to be my broken kit. So I'll do a bit more damage on these. I'm going to do the same as I did with the edge piece on the hull, which was to prime it all in grey and then reprime, do some damage, or tidy up some damage that's already been done, and then reprime in the rust primer with some chipping fluid, and then I can do some removal of paint from over the top. So that's snapped like that. I'm not overly happy with the way that's snapped, so I'll actually probably try and glue that back together, perhaps, let's say, bent, or sort of that sort of angle, and see what I can do with a couple of the others as well. I might remove another one from further along to not draw focus to it. One of the handrails on the other side was actually bent as well, coming out the box. So yeah, this is definitely going to be the worst for wear kit. But yeah, I haven't taken off the plastic, the transparent pieces from the second kit yet, because I don't need them yet, so I didn't really need to take the first lot off. I'm going to put them away for now. But yeah, I'll get these primed up and start painting on the other bits. As I say, I need to mask off where I'm going to put the blue, then remove, then spray the white, and then remove the masking and swap it over to the white. So yeah, I'll be getting that done in a moment, and then show you how it looks. Thought I'd show some of the chipping medium in action before I get down and mask and prime this one. Now, I've primed some of it in the red, like the rust red, and I've got some chipping medium, which is quite a thick liquid, and basically I'm just going to be putting some dots of it around, hoping across the, sort of the bottom of the hull and in the grooves and things, places where rusting may occur a little bit. Perhaps a little bit dribbling down from there, the windows. I haven't primed the red everywhere, so I'll be getting some sort of different details from when the priming, the rusting comes off. Now at the moment I'm just going to be doing the white bits, painting the white bits, so I don't really need to prime the blue, so I'm not going to be doing the handrails, because that I need to cover with tape and sort it out anyway. I have bent and distorted some of the handrails a little bit. I don't know if that shows out very well, but as I say, I'll be adding more chipping to that. This basically, there we go, let's show you on the good one, the white bits that I'm going to be painting. Get that in there properly, and then I need to basically reverse the masking to do the blue. But it's obviously easier to do the blue. If I miss over the white, then it's not going to be too much, but I did want to do the blue over the grey to get a good colour match. Not so important on this one, because it's going to be, say, the one that's been around the block, shall we say. So that's basically, I say, across the bottom is what I was really aiming for. Perhaps some around the edges and the bottom of hatches and things. If I don't want to remove this after it's been painted, then I can just leave it and it will sort of bubble it up a bit like rusting. So that's pretty much what I'm aiming for. I need to let this dry obviously before I put any masking over the top of it. I don't know how well it works with rusting, with masking rather. So this is the first time I've actually used any of this chipping medium at all, so it's all new to me. Obviously I haven't put the windows in yet either, but that's after the painting. some of that. Obviously windows are something that's going to get rusty. But that is pretty much what I'm hoping to achieve. As I say, I'll be pulling that off once it's done. So I'll get the last couple of bits of that done. I want the one with the stairs on it. I need to mask off the stairs are going to go blue, but so this bit's going to be white. So again, add some across the bottom. A couple of places here and there. Hopefully not too much, but just enough. It's going to be pretty rough and ready. Okay, that's that for that. We'll see how it comes off once it's been painted. See you in a moment. Right, things didn't go very well with the chipping. Actually, the chipping bit worked okay, but the white didn't come out very well at all. It's horrible and not right at all. So I basically stripped them all down back to the plastic again and changed my plan again. Again, it's going to be some sort of record as to how many times I can change this plan. And basically I've just primed them in white using the UMP white primer, because the white paint that I was using was giving some really shoddy, nasty results. So I've been back and primed them all in white, except that one that came out all right. I don't know why one came out all right. It's still a little bit splotchy here and there, but this is one of the old broken ones, so splotchy paint on there I'm not too worried about. So I've got all of the other panels. This is just white primer, nice and easy and quick-ish. Still light coats, and it still isn't quite right, but it's as good as it's going to get. So now this has dried, but obviously I haven't been able to do the chipping underneath because I don't want to peel it away just to white plastic. So I'm going to go over it again with just the rust primer, painting over the top instead of trying to chip the paint away from underneath. Hopefully I'll still be able to do that on that bit, which has to be blue, and hopefully the blue paint will come off better. So I'm going to be masking these off now to do the blue. So basically I need to mask off the bits that are staying white, which on this is basically this front panel and a bit across the top. The blue is going to be basically the top and bottom of that post and this bit on the right. Basically the same on the other side, I think. I'll double check before I do it. And on these two, obviously both the same, the blue is just the not fence, railings, and the stairs, so I need to mask off the rest of that on those. And that one is going to be all blue. There's some highlighting bits to be done, but say highlighting goes after the blue. So up for some masking and then painting. While I'm doing that, I'll be able to do the other bits like the stairs, which are just in blue, and the railings around the top, as well as these bits that I did in aluminium, and then need to mask that off, which is nice and easy because it's just across the top. Just basically masking like that, because the edge of these is actually going to be blue as well, and then I can just spray the blue around the edge carefully, trying not to get the top bit done. So both of those, the other one that I've, let's say, filed down a little bit and did some of the chipping on there, but again I'm going to be adding that over the top again. So lots of masking to do, and then lots of blue. So I'll see you in a moment. Right, that's all the blue over the white primer. Some of it was over the grey primer, like this piece here, which is why that one is darker than the others, but as that's the old knackered one, I don't care. It actually adds to the sort of history of it if it's got some different patchiness to it. There is some touching up to do where some of the paint bled through the masking. More than I'd hoped, but less than I'd feared, so not too bad, especially on the stairs, which isn't a surprise because I couldn't really mask over all the ridges. So I've got a little bit of brushwork to do to tidy it up and highlight a couple of the bits, the bells and things like that. A little bit there that need to be cleaned up a little bit. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with that. One thing I do need to do that I'd forgotten about, and that doesn't actually mention in the instructions, is this is the top floor of the deck, which basically is going to go, as far as I can gather, sort of like that. So these bits actually join up to those, so I do need to do these in the blue. I'm not sure about the top. I've got to read through the instructions again and see, but that's basically going to be going like that, with, so one bit at the back and one bit at the front. So I need to sort those out. What I have done also, since last time I saw you, I painted the black detail on the top here, and on one of them I've gone over with some grey silvery dry brushing, just to knock out some edges and make it a little bit worn. So I'll put it that side with the other worn stuff. So I need to do a little bit more masking and painting of those two bits, and read up about what it says to do about the top piece, because it doesn't actually mention painting those at all. They're left blank on the instructions, as is the top piece. But if you actually look ahead and read through it and see where it actually ends up on the kit, they are highly visible. Even on the finished model, they're, let's say, part of the main structure. So I'm going to do them in the blue, and the top, actually I'll do the top in blue as well. Then the funnels that go onto it are obviously going to be in more normal colour. So that's that. I'm going to do the brushwork on this. As I mentioned before, I'll be doing the rusting on the old version once it's put together, because then I can actually get rusting on into corners and things like that, rather than trying to do the failed attempt with the chipping fluid. So I'll tidy up that and then put one of them together for you, and I'll see you when I'm ready to do that. Right, I've started some detail painting. Let me grab the bit that you want to see. There we go. I've done the aluminium on the bell, so the red highlights down the edge here as well, and some of the bits on the other red bits on the safety equipment, I think, and the blue line. I need to touch up. These are the damaged ones, so I'm going to leave these a bit rough on the blue, but on the other ones I do need to touch up and tidy those up a little bit. So I've done some darker splotches of blue, which hopefully will come out on the camera there, just to show, you know, it's old, it's been repainted. I've also stuck together the first couple of bits. Now the instructions say to put those on, and then miraculously when you attach it to the back wall, the other little side railings have appeared. So I haven't cut them, painted those yet. I need to do those first, and I did miss on the other side the long railings that need to go onto the other wall with the stairs. So my plan is to get the last couple of bits done, the funnels and that on there as well. The boat bits and that I won't bother filming, but my intention is to get the last couple of bits done, these long bits here and these bits, then get that attached onto the boat, and then that will be calling that a day for this section of the video. Then the next bit will be the tower assembly itself, and that's done. So I've got a couple more bits to cut off and prime and paint, which I'm going to get done now, and then I'll be showing you the assembly of the main section. A couple of other bits there on the main deck that I need to sort out as well at some point, but so I'll do that afterwards. So yeah, once I've got this assembled, that will be the end of this video. So probably one more segment once I've, I say, got the extra railings and stuff ready. So see you in a moment. Right, I've got 3 decals to put on each of these main bits, which I've done on the damaged old one. I thought I'd show you on the new one. Now what I'm doing with these is these decals, number 15, of which there's 3 little F's in a circle. Basically they're going onto the red squares. Now as they're only, say, 3 of them and they're very small, I'm not going to be using water with them. What I'm actually going to be doing is using some microset. So I'm just going to cut these off. Just like that. Move the ones I'm not using well out of the way. And all I'm going to do is get some microset on a brush and just cover the decals with it. Now you can see it affecting the paper underneath, now showing you that the moisture is getting through okay. Maybe not enough got through on that one. Let's add some more of that. There you go. Now that one started moving already, so put the lid back on there, and then using a couple of pairs of tweezers, what I'm going to do is pick up the paper and slide the decal from one to the other. And then when it's in place, I can use the edge of the tweezers just to move it around, get it in the right place again before that microset disappears and evaporates. So that's that there, and then I'm going to get the rest of it onto the other 2. When they're all done, I'll get it all together and show you what's what. Now, starting the build of this, before it all comes together, there's a few bits need to go together first. Basically the top stairs, just locate through there, and then glued from the back is the easiest way of doing these. Just make sure they're glued on. A touch at the top there, a post that's going to hold that on there as well. And these 2 side pieces go onto these 2 side pieces. Obviously they only go one way round. Now they're going to locate on the outside of these little ridges, so I'm just going to put some extra thin on the outside of those, and then basically let that fall into place onto the outside of those. There you go. I can just feel that sort of locate into where it needs to be. There you go. That one on there. Now there is a little discrepancy in the colours between some of these barriers, which I'm going to touch up and just re-go over some of the blue. But now they're joined together, it's easier to see exactly where the problems are and try and match it up a little bit closer. A lot of that is, or all of that is down to it being different coloured primers, where I had to re-go over some of it in white and left some of it in the grey. So doing that wasn't ideal. Really should have stripped down the other bit and gone white on that as well. But there we go. We learn. Especially obvious on the side there, obviously. I I thought this was going to go over the top of the side rather than next to the side, so I didn't actually paint that as thoroughly or as many coats as I should have. Now, making sure they stick properly in there, I'm going to run up the inside of that seam with the extra thin, just to give it an extra chance to bond, and that way it won't disturb the paint on the outside as well. So when that's dry, I need to touch it up with the blue, which I'm just going to paint on rather than trying to mask and spray now. That one's not too bad actually, that's quite a good match. The inside's not so good, I'll darken that up a little bit. And then once all that's dry, we'll see about getting it all together and then onto the boat itself, onto the deck that we did last time. So, see you in a moment. Let's get some of this built then. This is all the bits painted up and ready to go. I'm going to put together some of the sort of sub-assemblies first, which is going to be a little bit of the funnel. One of them's got another funnel that goes onto the side of it. Let's get that in there. Now some of these I'm going to have to touch up on painting once they're together, so I'm not too concerned about that. There, I've still got to paint the insides of these in the aluminium as well, so once I get them on I can see about tidying those up. So let's get these on now. The last bits of the handrails can't go on until it's actually all installed onto the deck as well, because well, the short one's actually attached to the deck and the long ones are just likely to get damaged and cause problems. So get that in the right place, and then as ever you can add some more glue on the underside just to make sure they're secure, and let's do the same on the other one. Leaning a bit far. The reason that little one's not quite lined up right, which is where extra thin comes in very nice, because you can still play with it for a little while. There you go. They're both leaning backwards, but that's obviously the design for it. Now, the nice thing about having already built the wrecked one is it gave me some guidelines as to what to do. You need to get this bit that the life raft fits on through here before you do anything else, because if you wait till you've installed other bits, then basically you can't do it. So those bits go in like that. Now I did go around and do the white stripe on the inside of these and tried to match the blue colour as much as I could. It's not perfect, but it's not far off. And again, I can touch that up when I need to, when it's installed. So, as that installs onto there, so I'm going to get some extra thin on the edge here, and there, and on the inside here. I'll be able to make sure these sit in the right place and everything before I glue it to the deck, to make sure everything's secure, and add extra glue to the bits that I need to as well. Just give that a few seconds just to start to set, and then I can put it aside and do the next bit. Yep. Right, so I'm going to put these to one side because I don't need those quite yet anyway. That's the bell that's got to go onto it as well. It goes onto that front wall. The front wall, just in the corner there. But again, I'll do that after it's installed because it's likely to get broken off. Right, I have the windows which I need to put in. Now I'll do that using a thin clear fix glue designed for clear panels. So do that. Just need to get some glue around the outside. Although it does dry clear, you don't want to get it, or you don't need it anyway. And then get that window put into the right place. There we go. And then I'll just add a little bit more around the edge just to make sure it stays where it's put. Let's get the other ones in as well. Nice and easy because they're all different shapes, so you can very easily tell which one you should be doing. The ones with 3 windows, ones with 2 windows, ones with 2 round windows. You have to be going some to get them wrong. So again, just get that on. This glue takes longer to dry than the extra thin, and I keep forgetting that. So get that down, get some more glue across the top there. That's that one. Let's get the 2 square ones on here. Now, obviously I could cut away and not bother showing you this, but while I'm here, I'll throw it on the floor. There we go. If you don't want to watch me do all of these, obviously fast forward through to the next bit. But there's only one more to go, so it won't take very long. The one more is on that one, I've already done. That's the 2 little portholes for the doors. Keep trying to hold a toothbrush in my mouth, which makes it much harder to talk to you. Not toothbrush, paintbrush. There we go. That's all the windows done. Put that aside again. Right. So again, that goes on later. I've got the 2 sides and the front. Now again, you've got to get these on the right way around. That one can go on last because these need to go on around the other bits that I've already put on. So basically it's going on like that. So let's get some glue in the edges where it's going to hit. As ever, you can add glue to the insides of this after. Just like to get some down first, and then carefully trying to get it all lined up as it goes together. There you go. got that there. Let's add some more glue to the inside bits. Get rid of the fibres of that clear fix. That's that one. The other side just the same, except because I'm holding this bit, I'm going to put the glue onto this. Not onto the other side. Trying to get all this done before the glue sets, so I've got a little bit of wiggle room for all of it. I just remembered I need to touch up the grey in there where the white has pulled down there as well, so I'll do that once it's all together. Right, I'm trying to hold that together and get some more glue on the inside. I will be going over the edges with some more paint to touch up and join up the seams. Sorry, not much talking on this bit because it's a bit of concentration, but there we go. And the last bit, let's get that down as well. Especially the two seams down there, I need to make sure they don't look exactly like seams, so I'll be going over those with some of the paint to tidy those up. Right, a little bit more glue on the insides. And apart from the detail touch-ups, that's that pretty much done. Put it down on the bench to make sure it's square. Probably should have glued them on after. There we go. So, I make these mistakes so you don't have to. Need some more glue in there. And that is pretty much that. I'll get the last few bits on and then touch up the paint on it, and then that will be this. So, see you soon. There we have them, completed as to this stage. I'll go through the pair of them. The first one, the nicer one of the two, comes up quite clean. It's got, you know, shiny bits and all looking good. Quite happy with that. Some of the paintwork's not perfect, but it's as good as it's going to get. So, all happy with that one. The other one is deliberately bad. Some dribbling paint, hopefully to scale. It's hard to tell. Some of the rails damaged and broken. colour's not quite matching up, some of the patchy blue. The white I need to dirty up in places, but it's all going to be weathered and sorted out anyway. But yeah, so far so good, all coming together, all starting to look different instead of being the same. They're noticeably different boats now, so I'm happy with the way they're coming together. As I say, a lot of weathering to do on the old one, and not really any to do on the newer one. But that's it for this part of the build. There are a couple of other bits that I need to add on, the chair and some sort of decorative bits, if you like, on both of them, but I'll get them done before I start the next section, which is going to be the tower, the bit that surrounds the cockpit, as it were, which is transparent plastic to begin with, so it's going to take quite a bit of painting. Right, as ever, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you stay tuned for the next part coming up shortly. And as ever, like the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you.